Hey guys, hopefully you had a good spring break, an extra 2 days off. Um, so fortunately, we're gonna have to resort to video notes for the time being. Hopefully, I explain everything just as well as I would in class. Um, if you do have any questions, feel free to email me. I do have office hours from 10 to 12 every day, where if you need to, you can email me. I'll respond, within a couple minutes. Or if you really need my help on anything, all right, Zoom is an option, although I don't think we are using it till next week. But anyways, hopefully you are staying safe inside, away from anyone that's not your family. But I know that we'll get through this together. So without further ado, let's hop into what I think is a pretty straightforward and easy section to kind of get the ball rolling back with fourth quarter. All right, so we're just going to jump into our notes today. All right, should be an easy lesson, okay? And hopefully the homework assignment won't take you that long as well. Okay, so I can solve quadratic equations using square roots. Okay, so we have a little box to follow that up. Okay, so when d is greater than 0 and x squared equals d, we have two real solutions. X is going to equal the positive square root of d and the negative square root of d. Okay, so when d equals 0 and x squared equals d, so x squared equals 0, we have one real solution of 0. When d is less than 0, so it's a negative number, and x squared equals that negative number, we have no real solutions. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead, use those rules, and jump into a couple of example problems. All right, so on the first one, I need to get x squared by itself, and then we're going to square root both sides. So that's the process we're going to take when you see a problem similar to these. So on A, if you guessed it, we add 27 to both sides. So we have 3x squared equals 27. Then I need to divide by 3. All right, because now I have x squared equals 9. And if you can remember your squares, all right, we can take the square root of both sides. All right, so x equals, okay, this is going back to that first rule up top, okay, because it's a perfect square and because it's a positive number, it's going to be 3 and negative 3. All right, because 3 times 3 is 9, and a negative times a negative, which we would do here, is going to give us a positive 9. So that's how we get those answers. All right, the second one, all I need to do is add 10 to both sides, and then I get x squared equals 0. All right, and this was our second rule. When x squared equals 0, then x has to equal 0. And that's it. That's all we need to do. All right, and then this last one right here, okay, subtract 11 from both sides to start. So negative 5x squared equals 5. And then I just need to get rid of that negative 5 in front of my x squared. So I get x squared equals negative 1. And then if I take the square root of both sides, can I take the square root of a negative number? Absolutely not. So this one is no real solutions. All right, there is a solution, which you will learn down the road in Algebra 2, but you are not going to focus on that for the time being. Okay, the next type of problem, all right, this is where we have something in parentheses squared equal to a number. So for these problems, we need to get the x plus or minus something squared by itself. All right, we're going to take the square root of both sides and then solve for x. So this problem, all right, nice enough. If we just start by taking the square root of both sides, a square root and a square cancel each other out. So on the left, we're left with x minus 1 equals 5. But if you remember, all right, we have to do x minus 1 equals 5, and x minus 1 equals negative 5. All right, because if we still squared both sides, negative 5 squared is 25, and so is negative 5. So we have to do two equations. You're going to get two solutions. All right, so both of them, really easy. All you need to do is add 1 to both sides. And what do you know? X equals 6. And over here, x equals negative 4. So those are your two answers. So hopefully following along so far, it's been pretty easy. Okay, so up next, all right, you have 6 of these problems to do on your own. All right, I will post the answers on Canvas so you guys can view those at your pleasure, I guess, and check those. But we have 2 more examples to go, and then you guys can get started on your homework. Okay, so we're back. We're going to do example 3 and 4. I'm going to skip the pause right here, and you can do that after we do 3 and 4 together. So we're going to solve this one using square roots. So we're going to do the same process that we did on the front. I want to get x squared by itself. So if I add 13 to start, that leaves me with 4x squared equals 28. Then I need to just divide by 4. I have x squared equals 7. All right, then I just take the square root of both sides. All right, because 7 is not a perfect square, all right, I'm just going to leave it as a square root of 7. So x equals, and if you remember that first rule, it's going to be the positive and negative square root. So because it's both, and I want to save space and some ink as well, I'm just going to put the plus minus symbol, which is positive and negative, the positive and negative square root of 7. So that's what happens when you cannot take the square root of a side because it's not a perfect square. Okay? All right, so this last problem, we got a word problem. So it says a rectangular stingray tank at the Newport Aquarium has a height of 3 feet. Its length is 3 times its width. The volume of the tank is 270 cubic feet. Find the length and width of the tank. So to start, I'm just going to draw myself a little picture as best as I can. Remember, I did not go to college for art, so we're not going to judge. So it has a height of 3. All right, its length is 3 times the width. So I'm going to say this is the length. The width right here, we can say is x, and we can say that this width right here is 3x. All right, because it's 3. The length is 3 times the width, so it's 3 times as long as that. So if you remember to find the volume of a rectangular prism, all right, it's just length times width times height. So 3 times x times 3x equals 270. All right, I'm going to leave off the unit for now, but we're going to slap that on our answer. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then x times x is x squared. All right. Now, I'm going to divide by 9 to get x squared by itself. So x squared equals 270 divided by 9. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And then I just add a 0 to get 30. I'm going to take the square root of both sides before I get ahead of myself. So x equals, all right, normally if we're just solving a regular problem, it would be the positive and negative square root of 30. But, all right, can we have a negative length? If you said yes, then please email me. So we only have the square root of 30. We can only have a positive answer here. So this right here is our width. All right, so the width is the square root of 30 feet. All right, remember the length is 3 times that. So it's going to be 3 times the square root of 30 feet. And that right there is our answers. So I will post the answers to the try it yourself problems up on Canvas. But this assignment, or this lesson and the assignment on Big Ideas Math is the only thing that you have to do. I gave you 5 tries on the Big Ideas Math to type in your answers for what x equals or whatever the variable is. So you have 5 tries to get it right. As long as you do it, then you'll get the points for the day. And I'll send an email out to your parents that'll kind of clarify everything. But hopefully, all right, this has been a good lesson for everyone. So thumbs up for that. All right, so that'll be it for the week. All right, so make sure you stay on top of things. I will do my best to stay on top of things. Shoot me an email if you need anything. And as always, go Firebirds.